I don't worry about nothing. We're here. I see you. I can hear you. You see me. You can hear me. Right? Right.
Yes.
Back a little bit. So I won't be so close. Okay. So how do we look? Is the view good?
Yes.
Want to make sure our heads aren't cut off. You can hear us good, right? The lighting is good. Yes. It's all type of stuff popping up. I don't know what all these notifications are popping up, but we're gonna stay focused with it. She said, I ain't giving up. She listen. That's one thing about determination. You hear me?
That's what this for. Determination.
Lord mercy. You just try I got devices everywhere. IT support. So how you feeling? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm okay. I'm finally good. And this has been a journey. It hasn't even been a complete year. Well, actually, it has been. So
what made it a year? What was when did you become pregnant?
October the 19th is when I went for my mammogram last year. My job was sending us emails telling us to do some fundraising and we can get a free mammogram. So I asked my boss and one of my coworkers to go with me, wear some pink, and let's go. And we went to go have mammograms. As we went for the mammograms, I was telling this lady how my mama had breast cancer and she had passed from it. And she was excellent. I went over there at the Women's Washington over there in Southwest, I believe. Yeah. So she started giving me all of these trinkets. And when she started giving me these trinkets as I was leaving, I was like, wait a minute, did she see something? Because they can't tell you anything. So what?
She just began proceeding.
Yeah, because she was just the sonogram person. So doing a mammogram. So they are not allowed to tell you what they see or any suspicion or anything. But when she gave me those trinkets, when I left out, I was like, oh my God. I was like, did she see something on there? That's why she gave me all of these trinkets. Because she didn't give my boss those. She didn't give my coworker that. She didn't give nobody else these trinkets. So like a week and a half later, they told me that I needed to go have a sonogram done because they identified as suspicious mass. So on October the 29th, I went for the sonogram. They looked at it. They was like, yeah, we need to do a biopsy. So on November the 5th, I went for a biopsy. Now, remind you, my sister was at this time doing a great deed, which she was a surrogacy, and I was up at the hospital with her. And that's the day the president election was happening. It was a lot going on this day. So I went and had the procedure. It wasn't really bad. It hurt, but it was okay. And that was November the 5th. And on November the 8th, they contacted me and tell me that I had breast cancer, IDC stage 2.
Hold on, let's slow down. So before you got to the point where they let you know the diagnosis, they hadn't given you any idea of what they saw?
No, they just said it was highly suspicious, and the doctor said she's not too worried, but she is worried. So she was like, she was 50-50. Because at this point, like, I'm kind of freaking out because now I'm like, oh my God, is this cancer? Like, my mom had this. Like, she was like, no, don't worry. She was like, I just can't definitely say no. And then on November 11th, I went for an MRI. So my birthday was November the 10th. I could not enjoy the birthday at all, just knowing that they had diagnosed me with cancer.
Sure.
I tried my best to put my best foot forward, keep a smile on my face. And then the day after my birthday, knowing that I had to go get an MRI, that was the most uncomfortable thing I have ever done. So you have to lay flat on your stomach with this bony thing just in between your chest with your boobs kind of just hanging through, and it lasts about an hour or so. As we went through that, they found two more spots that they felt that was suspicious. So then I had to go come back and do another sonogram on two different locations. So those two locations,
Let me ask you this real quick. So at this point, how many appointments have you been on?
at this point, I have been. That was like my fifth appointment,
Okay.
and we're going into like my sixth. We did another suspicious. With the suspicious matter, those two came back benign, which was great. I was grateful for. But at this point, like they're just pushing me through all of these procedures. Like, what do you want to do? We're on the phone. We're constant. I'm at GW Hospital. I got my primary care doctor. She needs to come and see me. She wants to see what's happening, what's going on, and it's moving so fast. It was the end of October. We're now in November, and they asking me like, what am my decision, my recommendation, they recommendations to me. I had to go see an oncologist. I had to go see the breast doctors also. So her first recommendation when she came in, well, my primary care doctor said, well, let me prepare you. She was like, the mass is pretty big. She was like, so I'm going to prepare you now. They're going to ask for a mastectomy. She said, if they ask for one, you do both. I said, okay. So
let's slow down a little bit. Because you mentioned, as you were talking about, I guess around the fourth appointment, you mentioned when they started saying, I guess the doctor said she was concerned.
yeah, so now we about like on the 10th appointment, and I was at my primary.
I want to go back. I think you were probably on your third or fourth appointment when you mentioned that they hadn't told you anything cancerous. That never came up.
No,
Saw something, right?
the cancer came up. That was on my third appointment.
Okay, so it was your third appointment.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that you were concerned about what your mother went through.
That was the first one.
Okay, so let's go back there to that moment, right?
Okay.
Let's go to that moment where you're now thinking about what your mother went through. So take us to that moment. What did your mother go through? What had you concerned about what you were going through versus what your mother went through?
Well, I watched my mom die from breast cancer. She had a triple negative breast cancer. That means she was negative for the estrogen, she was negative for the progesterone, I'm sorry, and the HER2. So that's the worst type of breast cancer you want to have because it's hard to treat that. They can only do a general therapy and not a targeted therapy, and it's more likely to spread. So my mom did adjuvant chemo. So that means that she had chemo before she had surgery because her mass was big and it was on her right breast. And then they went in and took the right breast. So she had to go through some more chemo, and then she had to do radiation also. So with that being said, she had to get her lymph nodes cut. So she suffered from lymphedema, which her body was swell up big and it just really wouldn't go back down. So she just swelled up. She ended up being cancer free, I say about 2.5 years. But when it came back with a vengeance. So it had spread it to her.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it spread it to her right breast. It was like some in her lungs. So she was doing the chemo, and as she did that chemo, one day she just had a seizure out of nowhere. And then when she had that seizure, they took her to the emergency room. They found out that she had like 10 tumors on her brain. So the cancer had went to her brain. So we had to stop chemotherapy because you can't do whole brain radiation or radiation while on chemo. So I was just like, let's finish up the chemo. They was like, no, they want to address the the tumors first because that was a priority. So she had to do 6 whole brain radiation treatments. After she got to the third one, they began to bust and bleed. So then she went to the intensive care, and this was Christmas. And this was 2018. We're still grieving the murder of my brother also at that particular time. So, um,
And so collectively, how many years are you guys into that process from
we're
her
only a couple of months into that process. My brother died in April.
diagnosis?
My mother cancer came back in October. By December, she was in intensive care, saying that they didn't know whether or not to move on with the whole brain radiation. So I told them, let's do it. I asked her. She said, let's do it. So we did it. As she did that, she completed it. But whole brain radiation takes a real big toll on you. It took her back to the point is where she was like, move, get away, you stink. She was just folding her arms, acting like a 3-year-old. And I'm like, put your shoe on. She wouldn't put her shoe on. She was just tired. So I'm thinking like she just want that for attention. My mother loves attention. So I just thought that she wanted more and more and more attention. So she went to rehab. She ended up start walking with a cane. And then I felt as though she shouldn't come home, so I put her in another rehab for 30 more days. And that was teaching her how to walk up the steps again and to come down the steps, reach for the cupboard. She had to get her own self dressed, even though it took her a while. She had to do it. Um, and I was definitely pushy, like, come on, no, you need to do this. No, no, like keep redirecting her.
So are you her power of attorney, or you're just
Her next of kin at this point. Yeah. My grandmother was still living at this point, but I was like her next of kin. And ultimately that happened. So that happened in December. So January we're coming up. February she gets out, and then March is her birthday, and then in April she passed. So it went really, really fast. It went from her just a couple weeks ago singing a song to her not eating, drinking, nothing. So it was painful to watch and see, especially like each day that passed, she lost something. And like the more and more of her was gone. And I took it kind of hard, because I felt like I pushed her too much, and I didn't think that cancer could do that to you, like make you act like a baby. And we didn't have the best of relationship because she got on drugs when I was like 12, and I was never disrespectful, but I was a little mean. So when her cancer had came, the first time I told her I forgave her. And who knew that I would only have just like 4 more years with her. So I kind of, when she passed, I took it really, 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 really hard. Only because I was mean to her for so long. Two, I should have believed her like when she said that she was tired. But I did the fight in me, and it was just like, no, you're not giving up. Like you gotta walk. So when they said that she was in a wheelchair, we was rolling her in a wheelchair, and this was at her oncologist appointment. They told her she needed to walk around to the scale, and she said she couldn't. And I was like, yes, you can. You can do it. She got to the middle of the hallway and just was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And that's when they was like, they can't do chemo on her. And I was like, but she can walk. They was like, you have to be able to walk to do chemo. I was like, you can't just like give it to her. You're going to be laying down anyway. They was like, you can't do chemo and you can't walk. It's too hard on the body for you to just sit right there. But she really just never recovered from the whole brain radiation.
So so the choice to do the brain radiation, was that a collective choice that your family made? Or that something she primarily wanted, or?
I don't think I had enough knowledge. I just said okay because chemo can't go to the brain. Only thing that you could do for the brain is radiation.
Okay.
And operating on it was not a choice either. It was too many of them in different spots. So they did shrink. So she had another seizure, and they ended up taking her to Howard before she passed. And Howard was like, "Oh, like she has bleeding on her brain, she has tumors." I'm like, "Hey, like no, 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 like don't do anything. This is old. This is old." She's at Washington Hospital, and so I had her transferred from out of Howard, and like they was ready to just jump in and treat her for the tumors and the bleeding from what they seen on the imaging. So
Because they hadn't really had the history of what
they
was.
hadn't know because Howard is not MedStar. So it took a lot. I don't think I actually ever got over it. And
And I was actually going to go back to that because you also mentioned losing your brother. And so in the process of losing your brother and attempting to grieve for that loss, now you're faced with having to deal with your mother's situation in spite of the backstory with that relationship, right? So how do you think, how were you able to manage all those emotions during that time? Do you think you kind of tucked it away?
I don't think so. At that particular time, it was a lot happening. This is 2018 when my brother had passed, when he had got murdered. The night that my sons went to prom, everything is prominent to me. The night that they went to prom, my brother didn't come. Him and my mom had gotten an argument, and he didn't want to come. So I got upset. I hung up the phone on him. Was like my sons, they're twins. The twins only gonna go to the prom one time. You could have put y'all could have put y'all differences aside. You should have came. I hung up, got mad. The twins went on to prom. The next day, it's Saturday. My dad's calling me like, "Where's your brother?" I'm like, "I'm gonna call his phone." So my father called me back, and then somebody sent me something on Facebook and was like, "Hey, have you heard from your brother? Like, I'm hearing something crazy." So I was like, "Can you call me?" He was like, "I heard your like he was murdered." I'm like, "What?" So then I called my father back, and he was like, somebody gave him his condolences when he walked to the store. So then I called my mom. My mom was like, somebody else gave her condolences. And I'm like, "Well, where's the body at?" So I was at the skating rink with my daughter at this time, and I had a couple of her friends. So now I'm calling every hospital in DC. They was like, I asked them, did they have like my brother's name? No name. Then I thought about it. I was like, maybe he under John Doe. Called back to every last hospital. Was like, did y'all have a John Doe? They said no. So then I called the police station. It was like, hey, was y'all dispatched to any shootings that was on 4th and Rhode Island Avenue? They was like, no, they didn't respond to any shootings. So by now it's Sunday, and I was determined to find him. So the last person I know that he was with, I contacted him, and I kind of got a little forceful with it. She ended up telling me like the last place he was at, and I was like, he in that apartment. And when they went to the apartment, the door had a gunshot, well, a gunshot through the door. So it prompted the police to go into the apartment, and he was lying there. No, we really didn't have much time to grieve. I tried to hurry up. We didn't have no resources because we didn't know he was gonna pass away. Didn't have any life insurance. Didn't have any money. It was so unexpected. The kids are getting ready to go to college. It's just so many things that I couldn't even wrap my mind around with. So then I decided to have his funeral because my mother said she couldn't plan it. It was too hurtful. My father was really hurt. It was his namesake for his son. So it kind of crushed him. My father drinks, and he just started drinking more and more and more to numb the pain as if it was going to go away. And I kind of felt like both of my parents just gave up at that particular time, um, just knowing that their son was gone. Um, so then we had his funeral, and we did a GoFundMe. We had enough to get him in the ground and did what was best, what we could for his funeral for the repast. And to remind, my mother's brother had passed that same day, so we had a funeral, his funeral on Friday, my uncle's funeral on a Monday, and then that following week, the twins had graduated, and I was just like, let's just end this on a high note. Let's just do their graduation. Let's get all the funerals out the way, and then because we planned everything before they graduated. So I kind of had to push my feelings aside and keep going with the kids. Um,
So in other words, you weren't even allowed the opportunity to truly even
no.
for at all. Yeah.
So I mean, my brother has been incarcerated before, and sometimes for years, like one time for 5 years. So I think I just compartmentalized him. It was like, oh, it's like he's just locked up. And, I'll see him again. Like, I went years without seeing him. So I don't think I really just was able to grieve him. And then my mom took sick. So he passed away in April. And, I'm sorry. He passed away in May. The twins graduated in June. We had a trunk party in like August. They went off to college. My mom got sick in October again. And then it's now Christmas. She in the ICU. And then around March, they was like she can't walk, so we can't do the chemo. And the oncologist seemed like by this point they did another imaging, and it was spreading to her back, her pancreas, her liver, her stomach, her spine. It was just going everywhere at this point. But he was like, if she was strong enough, he was like, it's just little specks. He was, in his words, he said, I can melt that away. That's no problem. I can just melt that away. But she just wasn't strong enough to do the chemo. So I just kept saying, like, Mom, like, come on. Like, you gotta do this. You gotta do it. And she had triple negative, so she had the worst of the worst of the chemo. How if you heard of the Red Devil? It's like the Doroboxin. It's the strongest chemo out there. So
let me ask you this. So do you think that your determination to push her was more out of fear of being afraid of the what if I don't push her, the potential of what's to come? Or do you think you were pushing just out of frustration and just not really sure whether she was trying to get attention, giving up, or?
I was pushing her because I thought that she just wanted attention. And yeah, I felt like she had more in her to give. Like, she may look okay. She looks fine. And she has asthma, so like I'm like, Mom, she's your asthma. Like, push through, come on. Like, you got this. And even though that person looks fine and capably presentable on the outside, you like, oh, like you okay. But her internal organs was just failing her at this point. Like, the cancer is just attacking everything that's inside. And I didn't know that, so I took it kind of hard. Because I felt like I should have been more caring, even though I was there 100%. But a part of me feels like I should have been more caring, softer.
Like your temperament towards her.
Yeah. Tell her that it's okay. Like, I understand if you don't want to do it today. We'll try again later. Or just take your time instead of, come on, I know you could do it. Like, just pulling her up, pulling her arms, like, come on. And
So was there a point where you felt like the inevitable was here? This is before it started getting so. You
You
remember
said
that moment
the inevitable.
that you felt like, okay, she's probably not going to survive this? Do you recall having those thoughts before they realized how much it had spread it?
Um, no. And I was hopeful. I kept asking the doctors, like, have you ever seen? And they was like, well, we don't know. They don't want to tell you that they've seen this. They don't want, like, they just give you comfort care. I don't like comfort care. Just tell me what it is so I can plan for it and expect it. Um, I felt like I call it baby talk. Like, oh, she's okay. Oh, you need anything? It's just like it that frustrated me. So they put her on palliative care, and that's when you go to like what is it? A hospice. Less like, but it's in a hospital. So they just the doctors come in and they just look at you and how you interacting with them, and it's just a little weird because they just sit right there and they just smiling and looking, and
They essentially just did to make them comfortable.
yeah,
That's really their primary job, essentially, right?
yeah, just making her comfortable. And by her being in the hospital, it's just like I don't know. I just didn't know how to accept it. I didn't know, but I can tell that every day, like I was just losing more and more and more and more of her. Um, so I started to plan for the end of life, and I didn't. When that happened, it was terrible. Like I couldn't hold nothing down. Like it was coming out of both ends. I even thought about taking my own life. But then I also thought about like, what are my kids? Like, what about like if you feel this way about your mother, how would your kids feel about you if you done this? That was a hard bargain to to deal with. Like I'm afraid at this time because she's always helped me with the kids while I was babysitting. I'm like, how am I supposed to do this without her? Like I didn't even really get a chance to even think about JR. Like it would, but everybody is dependent on me at this point. So
You gotta suck it all up and put all
yeah, I got kids. I got my grandmother. I had my stepfather. I had my father. I had everybody pulling and tucking me. So it was kind of like just put on his face and keep going. And I would go in the closet some nights or some days and just cry. Just put my face in clothes and just cry. Because I didn't want the kids to see me to cry. So that,
Let me ask you this. So, in that moment of feeling like you wanted to unalive yourself because of what can you recall those thoughts? Was it just, what was it? Was it frustration? Was it fear? Like, was it testing your faith? Like, what was
it
it?
was just like, if this what you call life, I don't want it. Like, it's too much. Like, I ain't asking for all of this. And I'm just like, it's a lot that's been going on, like since I was younger, and I'll be like, I've been putting on a brave face. I did everything right. I mean, everything right, at least I possibly could. And I'm like, why do I keep getting punished? Like, what did I do to deserve this? Um, the the thoughts was like, okay, I should just take these pills. But as I had pills in my hand, I was dialing 9 and then 1. I was like, girl, you ain't ready. Like you can't be trying to do this and save yourself too. So I was like, you don't want this for real. And I thought about jumping. I was like, I like jumping off the cliffs in the natural day. So I said I probably like that. If I just hit some water, I probably swim. So it's like that's not an option either. So I was like, okay, so I need to go get some help. So I had to go do psychotherapy, grieving therapy, and then I had a fiance, which at that particular time also put our relationship on the rocks too. because it was just so much changing and shifting. And then we had to do couples counseling. So I was in counseling 5 days a week for like 2 years. And then we got hit with COVID. And that's just like a whole nother beast. And that was in 2020. We just getting past my mom's death, or it's just starting to simmer down just a little. And then my dad was taken from COVID, so it was like 18, 19, 20. The whole family that I was born into is now dead. And COVID was just like a scary time. We couldn't breathe properly.
Were you continuing therapy?
I was still in therapy in this particular time. It, I mean, yeah, that was hard. Like, but I miss my dad, and I did everything for my dad for the last 15 years, like far as his appointments, keeping up with his prescriptions, taking him to the store, the grocery stores. Like, I was that person prior to this happening. And during COVID, I said that I wasn't going to go past him because I was working in retail. So I usually go past there every 2 days to, check on him and just take him to the store and stuff. I decided not to go for 4 days. And my father's an alcoholic, so he drinks, and sometimes he drinks too much. Well, often he drinks too much. So he needs to be handed water or Gatorade. I need to give him bananas. I need to give him something to eat. Like, his liquor kind of like absorbs all that moisture and all of your vitamins out of your body. So my aunt had called and was like, "Yeah, your father hasn't been upstairs in 3 days. She keep calling down there, he's not really answering." So she called 911, and they took him to the hospital. Sometimes he needs some blood, because his blood is really low because it's the alcohol. But it's a time during COVID, so they just put him against the wall. And he was left in a wall at the bedside of a wall for maybe like 3 days. Finally, they gave him a floor, and they had him so highly sedated, but I felt like it was just on the wrong drugs, and we couldn't go up there. I have a background in pharmacy, so it's just kind of like, I'm telling them, "Hey, like, what do you have him on?" And they was like, "Oh, we have him on 20 milligrams of lorazepam." And you wondering why he don't know what day of the week it is or who's the president? Like, take him over that. I was like, you need to give him delirium, Hydol. Like, I'm just telling them all the stuff that they need to give him. They was like, "Oh, do you have some type of medical background?" I was like, "I absolutely do." They was like, "Are you a doctor?" At this point, you don't need to know what I am. You just need to just do what he need to do. So then they start taking better care of him. So I'm like, let me FaceTime him. And he was starting to wake up a little, but on that 11th day, they said that he had COVID. They tested him when he first got there. He didn't have it. They gave him another test a couple days after. He didn't have it. So somewhere in between there, he contracted COVID. And when they said he had COVID that night, he had a cold blue, which is heart had stopped for, they said, 18 minutes. I know, being in the medical field, that after 8 minutes you have severe damage, and after 10 minutes you are a vegetable. So I already knew that he was gone, and then he coded again that night. So of course they needed the machine, so it's just like quick decisions on like what we need to do, how he's gonna bury him. It was just
So another transition that you had to plan quickly that you were prepared for. And it sounds like you're doing this on your own.
So with my dad, I had my sisters with me. I was highly agitated with them. I was snappy. I was moody. I didn't want to deal with it. I was working overnight shifts at this particular time because I couldn't sleep at night. So during the day, they wanted to get business handled, but I just needed a little bit of time to process. So my mother not being their mother, they don't understand that my father died on April the 9th, and you're talking about going to the funeral home on April the 16th, which is what my mother had died. No one will remember these dates, but I do. So I did tell them that, but it's kind of like, okay, but this still got to get done. Like, he can't just sit here and I need I need a moment. And then, so by me being my father's primary care person for the last 15 years, I was his power of attorney and a whole lot of things because he drank. So with that being said, like when people would try to call up to the hospital and get information, like family members, they wouldn't give it to them. Now my sister, one of my other sisters is in the healthcare field, so she should have known better. At least that's what I was thinking. But my behavior couldn't it took away what I was trying to say because it just wasn't landing right. The delivery was wrong, my tone was wrong, my attitude was wrong. It was just everything was just wrong. And then we end up having my father's funeral on the same day as my mother's. So that 1 year ago, I was right there burying my mother, which was April 29th, and I'm right here burying my father. And I acted a total fool. Yeah, I'm not proud of that. And I didn't talk. I just isolated myself from everybody, and I had to work on myself. I had to do a lot of working on myself.
Going on?
Hmm.
Therapy still going on during this time, or?
Yeah, therapy was still going on through this time. The main thing it was like the grieving counselor was like, give yourself grace. She was like, how come you extend grace to everybody else, but you don't give it to yourself? And I was like, I do give myself
What did you
that.
really discover in that? Did you really
Yeah,
discover why?
I feel like I'm hard on myself, so I don't know when I'm being pushy on somebody else because I do it to myself. So I
No, I
kind of
mean in
like
terms of why you don't give yourself grace.
why did I thought I was like I thought I was like picking myself up every day. Like okay, come on, like you got 10 minutes to cry. Set the alarm.
But I'm sure you learned through therapy and grieving that that's not necessarily giving yourself grace. That's
Yeah.
like a moment. That's like taking a knee, right? You give yourself a moment, and then you kind of like looking at your watch, right?
Mhm.
5 minutes, got 2 more minutes. I get this last cry out, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure you've learned because it sounds like it. How many years are you into therapy at this point? And grieving?
3.
You're 3 years in. Yeah, so I'm sure you've had to learn through that process that it's almost like, and what it sounds like to me is, I gave myself moments, scheduled moments, right? Like you allotted yourself, for kicks and giggles, 15 minutes, right, of a cry moment, right? You got 10 minutes of a session where you just lay down, don't give up, and don't get up. But I'm sure you realize that wasn't working, right?
Yeah, I mean it worked, but it didn't work. But I compartmentalize, so I need a lot of time to think. A lot of times, I need that time alone to figure out where I'm gonna put that space in, where I'm gonna put it at, how I'm gonna store it, and then I'm able to come back out, and then I call it like facing the world. Like after I done tore myself down, after I done cried, like I can come out and I can smile in a couple minutes. Just like I gotta get myself together. So I don't know how not to compartmentalize, and I still don't know how to do it. I still don't know how to do it. So I've learned that some people like I'm really patient, but I also never forget how you made me feel. So when I feel Let me see. When I feel like somebody has done something to me, I just take that and I just put it up in that little box. And then I take the next thing and I just put it up in that little box. And I just take and I just keep doing that until one day it's just like next thing it's like a soda can that you then shook up and you open it and
Exactly. And so now we fast forward 2024, which gives you 3 years after your dad transition, or is this 2.5?
after my dad 4 years. He died in 20.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking 21, 22. Okay, okay. Okay, so now we fast forward, and it sounds like,
Yeah, that was more death. Another uncle, my mother's uncle, other brother passed, and then my grandmother passed. So it was like 5 years of consistent death. My mother's two brothers, my grandmother, my father, and my brother. So it was just like I just couldn't catch a break at this point. And finally, I get 1 year of no death, and I get next thing you know, it's this my sickness. Like, so is it kind of like my time to go? Like, what's happening? What's going? I was,
real
you
thoughts,
know,
right? Those are real
yeah,
thoughts.
real. Those real thoughts. I was like, I was just playing. I really don't want to die. I was playing back then a couple years ago.
Right,
Like, what do I have to do right now to stay here on this earth? Because I really want to be here.
right. Those real conversations with God, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, what do I do? And then with so many doctors talking to you, and so many of them coming at you with so many different angles, like it's you're making a lot of rush decisions that you don't have time to think about. Like this is going to impact me for the rest of my life, and I'm making all of these rush decisions. Um,
Do you feel your current situation, you feel like that process was rushed as well in terms of making decisions on your own behalf?
yeah, it was definitely rushed, especially during COVID. With my mom, I don't think it was rushed too, because I have never known nobody to die from cancer or to suffer from cancer. So I didn't know if this was right or if this was wrong. Um, I just felt like I wanted her to do everything to try to keep her alive, but not really knowing the the effects that it was going to have on her. But it also taught me maybe I needed to go through that, or maybe that needed to happen because this was going to happen, and now I know how to advocate for myself.
That's definitely something that I had considered asking you, because I personally don't believe that we have these certain experiences in life that aren't preparing us for something else. We're not just going through we're not just the one, right, that's being used as an advocate, right? Because I mean, that's a whole other story on my end. Because I feel like that's my major role in regards to my family and illnesses and things like that. And I think that for the most part, we're not just going through it simply because a relative is going through it. There's preparation, right? There's maturity, right? There's increasing knowledge, right? It expands your wisdom because, to your point, in spite of having a background in pharmaceutical, I'm sure you learned a lot through all of those different processes. I'm hearing from you that you, the sister, the daughter, right? The caregiver, right? The decision making, the pharmacist, right? The doctor, the advocate. So what's left for you to be you? Like, right, what goes to you? What goes to your kids and your now husband? Like, how have you learned anything in terms of how you can not spread yourself so thin and have something in reserve for Saran? Have you learned that in this whole process, do you think?
Not totally. I need time by myself. A lot. I spend an ample amount of time by myself, even if it's in the bathroom or in my room. I can stay there for a while. I need to gather my thoughts. I need to rethink everything. Um, a couple times before I finally make a decision. When I make that decision, and I'm comfortable with the pros and the cons of it, like um, I can live with the consequences for doing and not doing. And I just need, I just need those moments. I I I don't know what I have left for me, but I do give myself daily affirmations like, "Girl, you the bomb." Like, "You so gorgeous. You so pretty." Like, who told you you couldn't do this? Like, I do give myself these daily affirmations. Also, like, look at you. Just look at you.
Do you feel like you have a good support system?
I do. So I mean, I got a ton of girlfriends. All childhood friends. They have been there to support me in every which way, even though I push a lot of people away too. So I tend to do that a lot, especially when I'm going through like, I got this, like, give me a little bit of space. I don't.
You say
So
that repeatedly. I need time to process, and I isolate. Like I hear that
I do.
isolation process, and then in the meantime of you doing what you feel you do for you, you probably in turn pushing people that want to be there to support away.
Yeah,
Not
I know
intentional.
how to give the care, but I couldn't receive it. I didn't know how to
You're a
take it.
caregiver, right? Like
Yeah.
you practice giving more than receiving is what it sounds like.
Yeah. So when everybody wanted to be like, "Oh, let's come to your house," or "We just want to be around you, let's just celebrate," and like, no, I don't need no pity party. I'm good. Like, nah, like I'm all right. No, I don't want this. I don't want no big birthday party. No, I don't want nobody coming over. I'm okay. Like, I'm
And so
fine.
you know that's childhood, right? You do that has a lot to do with childhood.
Childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm. A lot of that has to do with childhood trauma, from what I'm understanding. It's almost, and we don't want to get too deep into it because we're going to come back to the present time in a minute, but because it's almost like there's certain things we learn when we're young in terms of love and affection, right? We learn things in terms of admiration and gratitude, right? And so what I'm finding is that oftentimes when there is a host of childhood trauma, it blocks out those spaces where we're learning the different levels of love, giving and receiving, right? It's almost like being 7 and you're having to be faced with something that is probably you shouldn't have to deal with when you really could be embracing love, understanding the levels to love, understanding the levels of giving and receiving, but you got to deal with this big family issue that doesn't allow you to be the kid, right? That's being nurtured with love and understanding the dynamics of how that works. This is just what my understanding from what I've learned. That a lot of how because I say about myself, I'm giving you the flowers. Anybody in my life getting their flowers above ground for me. But let somebody try to give me flowers, you know what I'm saying? And I had to look at that like, what is it? Like, don't give me no I'm gonna praise you up, big you up. I'm giving you all the affirmation. So somebody try to give it to me, it's like, don't do that. I don't need to be called that. I don't need to be, like okay, thank you. And I had to look at that, and through my searching, because I realized it was a real thing that I'd done like probably most of my adult life, and I learned that was from childhood trauma that I wasn't able to learn to embrace being nurtured, embrace being comforted for and cared for. I only learned how to be because I was put in adult situations so young. I only know how to be those things to people. I didn't have enough people being that for me young. So now, as a full blown adult, and I literally just learned this years back that I never even learned how to receive it because at the time when I should have been receiving it, I wasn't. Right? So now it's almost like having to learn how to open up your arms, open up your fists, right? And allow people to give and pour into you and nurture you. So I get that. I can identify with that specifically. But let's go to the present time. So now here we are. You go through, I think you left off, or you were probably at your 10th appointment, possibly at this point.
Yeah. This was my primary care doctor. She wanted to examine me. So as she examined me, she was like, the mass feels large because you can feel it underneath of it. She was like, they're going to take your breast. she said when they do, you give them both. And she was like, I'm just gonna tell you like that. And I was
She
like,
said, why to get both?
because usually it spreads over into one, or you can have it, and I have really dense tissue, so it's a lot of lumpiness that I feel like little rocks. It's always been that way. So uh, I had a couple years back. I had like a mass that was up here, kind of like, and I went and had that looked at, and they said it was just lipoma. So it felt similar to that. I could feel this little bump that was right there, but it was directly down. I mean, it was directly right under it. So I could feel it, but she said it was pretty big. So when I went to the breast doctor, she after they looked at the after I did the MRI, I went back to her. She was like, "Yeah, we're gonna take it." And I had my primary care doctor had already prepared me for it, so it wasn't like an issue. Like I was just like, "Okay, well, you got to take both." And she was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Okay, that's fine. That's a great decision, actually." And I was like, "Okay." So she was like, "Well, we'll get you scheduled for surgery." By this point, it's probably maybe like 2 days before Thanksgiving. So I hosted Thanksgiving at my house. Everybody came, and knowing that that Thursday was just gonna be the last holiday that I was going to enjoy with family, because on that Monday I was going to surgery to get both of my breasts cut off. So I made little jokes about it. I was like, "Oh my God, like I'm about to mutilate myself. I'm about to amputate my titties." Like I had to make little jokes and humor out of it to just keep going.
Mm.
But yeah, we did um, the double mastectomy. As they did the double mastectomies, they don't know how far your cancer is. They really don't know how big the tumor is until they actually go in. So some people can go in for reconstruction right afterwards, but it just depends on what they see once they get in there. So my doctor, by me being as young, well, I'm not that young. I'm 42, but as young as I am, she went in, she did took the tumor out, and then she tested my lymph nodes. But she tested 18 of them, and I was like, "That's a little excessive." And she was like, "Yeah, we wanted to triple check to make sure that anything didn't get to you." So they took 9 sentinel lymph nodes and 9 regular lymph nodes. Um, but they all came back as negative, so no cancer had went to the lymph nodes, and the tumor was actually a lot smaller than what they thought. They was measuring in that it was 5 centimeters, but it had a lot of calcifications around it, so it ended up being 1.8 centimeters.
Okay.
So it was fairly small. It just had a lot of calcifications around it. So I had to do blood work, and what they do is test the tumor, and they give you an onco score. And the onco score is supposed to tell you whether or not you would benefit from chemo. So depending on that level. So if it's above, she said if it was above an 18 for me, that I would have to do chemo. But they said radiation was definitely out of the picture. But in the beginning, I'm sorry, to get back, she was like, "Oh, I don't think you'll have to do chemo, maybe some radiation." So I was prepared for radiation, but not chemo. So she was like, "Oh, you don't have to do any chemo, no radiation." So in January 3rd is when I went back to the doctor for a checkup. All my scores that came in by then. So now she's like, "Oh, you don't have to do any chemo. You don't have to do any radiation. Like, you're cancer free. Next step is I'm just gonna send you to surgery, and they'll talk about reconstruction." Because after they amputated my breast, like I did nipple sparing, which the nipple is still there, but the all breast tissue is gone, even the nipple bud, all tissue is gone. So and that at first it was a little alarming, like seeing these cuts, like, oh my god, like what did I just do? Is my husband gonna lay with me? Is he gonna think I'm weird or something like that? Like that overall process, I don't think I really thought too much about it. Again, it's me compartmentalizing. Like, this is what I had to do. This, I said that I was going to cut them off. I already knew what it was going to look like. So let's move forward. On February the 14th, which was Valentine's Day, it's always a prominent date behind something for me. And they called me and said that the calibration of the machine was messed up and that my score had doubled. I was like, no, y'all need to retest the tumor. I said, do y'all still have it? They was like, yeah, we keep it for 10 years, retest it. So now it came back as a 31, which was higher than a 30. So they was like, they're gonna recommend me to go see the oncologist. And at this point, the oncologist was like, yeah, we're gonna do chemotherapy. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm not gonna do it. And then, like, she was saying, like, how it would be beneficial for me. And again, this is just all preventative measures because of my age, because I'm premenopausal. So my cancer is estrogen positive, progesterone positive, and HER2 negative. So, which means my hormones will thrive in the cancer. As women, we make a lot of estrogen because we carry babies and stuff like that. So and then progesterone, so we make a lot of it. So it's like, how do we slow it down so that it doesn't come back? So I didn't cut both of them off. I'm like, so I decided to do chemotherapy. I decided to give it a try after so many talks. My husband told me I shouldn't do it. And I was like, I'm going to just try it. At least I'm going to see. So I went in, I did the chemo March 3rd. They give you, they give you some steroids that you got to take a couple of days before. You got to take some anti-nausea medicines. And they also give you this stuff before the chemo. So chemo for me was a long process. It was like maybe like 5 hours long. Well, it was 4 for the pumps to just go. But I think each injection, they got to flush you, and then they got to wait 30 minutes and stuff like that. So it took a little longer. I purchased the cold cap to keep my hair. They give you all of this in a package. I was like, oh yeah, I just want to keep my hair. I had just started growing it back, so I really wanted to keep my hair. So I had to pay $600 for this cold cap, thinking that it was just like going to save my hair. So this cold cap just consists of, you have to wet your hair before you go, and when you get there, they install it, but they literally put antifreeze inside of the cold cap. It doesn't touch your scalp because you got some other stuff on it, but it's antifreeze in a cold cap. It is freezing my brain. Like, at this point, I feel like I got a headache. I feel dizzy, lightheaded, and I'm cold inside. I don't know what, my feet cold, my hands cold. You know, when your head get cold, everything just get cold. I kept drinking tea, and ultimately that kept making me go to the bathroom. So now I have to get up. I have to unplug from the cold capping machine. I got to take the chemo with me. I told him I didn't want to port because she said it was only 4 cycles, and the 4 cycles was only going to be every 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, I can handle that. 4 times every 3 weeks, I'm going to be good. Maybe my hair won't fall out. Don't seem so bad. Oh boy, was I wrong. Like, that's still, you got to think about that. If you going every 3 weeks, that's a lot of chemo that they giving you versus people that go every day and get these micro doses. They gave you a whole lot of chemo. So the next day I went to work. I'm walking on the treadmill. We walking on the ground with my boss. I'm just like, the next day I come to work, I'm fine. I just keep going to work. And then one day I was just like, it was a Friday. And I was like, y'all, I'm tired. And I actually had a water bottle like this. And I fell asleep on the water bottle. And I was like, at work. I said, I'm going to go home. And I went home. I had a fever. I felt that. When I woke up, my back started hurting. I kept saying my back is hurting. And my back is hurting. And they also give you this shot after you finish chemo, and it is to help your bones produce white blood cells. So white blood cells come from your bones. So what this does is make your bones like throb, and like you can feel your bones throbbing, and it's just producing a lot of white blood cells because your immune system can go completely down. So that right there is very very achy already because your bones are just throbbing, and then on top of that, the type of chemo that they give me caused joint pain. So I had a type of reaction to it 9 days later as to where the muscle will wrap around the bone, and when the muscle will wrap around the bone, it wouldn't allow the bone to expand to make the white blood cells. So then, like, it's just like I went back. They prescribing me all of these narcotics like oxycodone and Percocets and Dilaudid and stuff like that. Nothing is working. I'm like, this stuff is just, it's not working. They like, come in, we need to check it. Like, I go in, my liver enzymes is high, my potassium is high, my white blood cells is high. No, it's low. My red blood cells is too high. It was just a lot that's going on. They couldn't figure out why I was in so much pain or why I had all of these symptoms so late. Because they was like, usually people have these symptoms in between 2 to 5 days, but mine started on the 9th day and continued on, and days and days and days. One day my husband had went out, and I don't know how many people I called different people at different times. Is just crying like, oh my God, it hurts so bad. I even called the crisis line. It's like, please help. It was like coming to the emergency room. But the only thing about going into the emergency room is that my immune system is so low. If somebody call, like, I can catch anything that they could probably have, and you just sitting in there. I wasn't going in that emergency room, no. And knowing my father, thinking about him, like he was on the side, I'm not going walking in and coming out in a body bag. That's not an option. So I was just like, I'm not doing that. So I dealt with that pain. I'm talking about I literally was crying tears. So I was just like think, Saffron, like, what could I do? What could I do? Finally, I was like, damn, let me take the steroids. So I started taking the steroids like every 4 hours that they gave me. The pain started to ease up and ease up and ease up. And the doctors are calling and checking on me. So I called her. When she called me, I'm like, yeah, I was taking the dexamethasone, the steroid. I said, my pain is starting to ease up. And she was like, sometimes dexamethasone has that effect. Like, she was like, because it's anti-inflammatory, it can relieve pressure. I was like, so why didn't you tell me to take this at first? Instead of prescribing me pain medicine that's just doing nothing for me.
You probably would have never had to go through that extreme pain had you already been prescribed that early on.
Yeah, they gave it to you. They tell you to take it 2 days before COVID, and then you have to continue to take, before COVID, 2 days before chemo, and you start taking it 2 days before chemo, the day of chemo, and 2 days after chemo. And they give you some of it in a hospital through your IV. So I knew that steroids like would help. My kidneys and stuff was just like, they were swollen, everything. It was a lot. I was just like, I'm not doing this chemo. I said, that's it. She was like, we can try to do one more. So on my second appointment, I told my primary care doctor, I was like, I'm not gonna do it. She was like, at least try to get through halfway through it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try. And then I thought about it, and I was like, nah, you know what? I'm not putting my body through this. Like, my heart rate was up, my kidneys is being messed up, my liver is being messed up, if I continue to keep doing this, like this is preventative. I don't have any cancer in me at this time. So what's the point of me doing chemo? Like it is destroying my body. So I had a little embarrassment with telling people that I stopped chemo. Like, why would you stop it? Like, what did the doctor say? That was everybody's first choice, well, mostly. Like, well, what did the doctor say? Doctors ain't, they can't say nothing because this is my body and my choice. And I'm not going to keep pumping poison into me just for preventative measures. I believe chemo does work, but I'm not going to take it as a preventative measure. When I've already done that, I did cut off both breasts. It wasn't in my lymph nodes. Now, had it been some in my body, I think maybe I wouldn't have reacted that way, but that chemo was terrible. And now, by this point, it's time for me to go back for the second one. I just said no, and now my hair is starting to come out. So as you just going through your hair like this, globs of it, it's just coming out, just globs, and I am freaking out. Like, I'm like, oh my God. So it's nothing I can do to just save the head. Yeah, I try to, you comb it. It don't matter what you was on. You lay down on a pillow. If you just touched it, it's just all over my shirt, my clothes, everywhere. And it is, you can't stop it.
Where is your faith through all of this? Like, do you feel like your faith is being strengthened, or do you feel more upset with God?
No, I'm like, please, God, just take it away, please. Whatever I done wrong, I'm sorry. Just tell me, just fix it. Like, what can I do? Just help me. Like, please, I don't want to die. Like, I watched my mother go through this. But that was another thing too. That the hardest part of that was separating my journey from hers. I had to tell myself, I'm not my mother. And I finally let her go. And I've been holding her so close and so tight to me that it was still hurting me. And finally, I just finally let her go to go through my own journey and not let that define me. So I was like, I let go, Mom. Like, what is it that you want me to do? What is it that I need to do? Like, I'm still, I can listen. Just walk me through it. Put me on the path and I'm going to walk it. And that's what I kept saying that I was just going to do. And as the hair coming out, like, I start feeling like, oh my God, do I look sick? I'm lashing out on some of my friends. Was like, y'all don't want to be around me. Y'all think y'all could catch cancer. This is all in my head. I'm delusional at this point, but it's just somebody saying you sick. I'm not sick, but I really am sick.
Right. So let me ask you: did anyone response surprise you?
You
Like,
said that.
their response to it, like their initial reaction once you let people in your circle know what you were going through, what you experienced. Did anybody's response or reaction surprise you?
No.
No. Okay.
No. I knew that everybody was going to be on board.
I was wondering, was someone's reaction feeding something? But so you really were just delusional, in a delusional state.
Yeah. Making up stuff in my mind. Because it felt real in that moment. Like, oh, they think I'm gonna get sick if they're around me. I even told my husband, "What you think you gonna get sick because you laying beside me?" Like, I never really had the time to actually process it or think about it. So the only way I knew how to do it was just to show up in anger, and I was saying stuff that didn't make sense. Like, everybody know you can't catch cancer by being around somebody, but that was my thought. Like, in that moment, it felt real. So after I got out of it, when I needed that alone time to think, it was like, Tawana, you sound dumb as hell talking about somebody can catch this.
But I'm sure there's a sense of paranoia going on. How can it not? Right? How can your self-esteem not be rattled? Right? How can you not be paranoid that someone is thinking and feeling differently about you? Because I actually heard stories where people did feel like their family was treating them different afterwards. They did feel like people kind of didn't know what to say or how to say it. Like, they kind of treat them like a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they didn't really know how to react to it, didn't know what to do as a loved one while they're, while this person they love is going through it. So I'm sure how could that not trigger a sense of paranoia? Like, how could it not? You know what I'm saying? So I don't even think it was all just delusional. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it was completely delusional. I think you were very paranoid. And I think that's warranted. Like, we can't even get a new hairstyle without getting paranoid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hairstyle without getting paranoid. Can you imagine what everything your body has gone through? Your breasts, your hair, like, how could you not? Like, that should have been expected to some degree. You know what I'm saying? That you would mentally wander off into these places because you were kind of having pity on yourself too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I definitely was, and I really don't have no words to kind of describe it. Like, I didn't cry about it. I didn't talk about it. I told everybody, don't treat me no different. If you treat me any different, I'm a no. And if you treat me differently, I ain't gonna want to be around you. So treat me the same way. I'll let you know, like, hey, when something's too sensitive or the joke too deep, like, hey, all right, strike one. Like that. But I was like, don't treat me any differently. I didn't want to be, I don't know how to be baby. I don't know how to be cared for.
Exactly. Going back to that.
I don't know that. So
you gotta learn that. And I think this is a season of learning that.
Learning how to
be cared for, learning how to be embraced, learning how to get your flowers, like knowing how to allow somebody to be a shoulder for you.
That's kind of hard when you done everything and you walk this walk by yourself completely. I'm talking about completely by myself. And I never complained. I never actually cried about it. I just did what I had to do. I just moved on. But I also built walls, and I built that wall brick by brick by brick. And now that the wall is up, it's kind of hard to let it down.
Because then you got to take it down brick by brick.
Yeah, or demolish it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you have the strength to demolish something that you built brick by brick. Because that's the difficult part.
Yeah.
You think that, okay, take a sledgehammer and knock it down, that's easy. But there's a lot of mental work and spiritual work and emotional work that goes into that. Whether you got a jackhammer, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot of work. And I think, and I want to say this, as humble as I can. I am certain that this season has a lot to do with you allowing yourself to be cared for. Right? I think that this has been a time for you to allow yourself to feel. Because you ain't been feeling. You just been doing and moving and rocking and rolling and showing up. And I believe that this is something that, and I'm not comparing, but I know this is something I have to tell my brother who had a stroke in 2019. It's like, it's your time to smell the roses. It's your time to actually take your time, not show up for anyone. You know what I'm saying? Allow people to show up for you. I think it's a time to embrace that in any capacity, because that's when it doesn't become difficult. Because what I think, another part I'm hearing is that the projection, right? Project a lot because you don't want to feel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't really want to feel. Like you said, I ain't even cry. How you not going to cry? And that's a rhetorical question, but how you not going to cry? Because if it was one of your friends, you'd have cried. Big tears. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I think it's this not moment of self-reflection, but a moment of actually letting Saran feel. You have to feel. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't like that. I've been saying that for a long time. I was like, since I've been in therapy.
That's projection.
I don't like that.
You know what I'm saying? I don't like that, but you don't. And isn't that, and that, okay, I'm gonna push back. I don't think that you don't like it. It's unfamiliar. It's almost like you saying you don't like a certain type of food you've never tried. You know what I'm saying? It's unfamiliar. So as opposed to saying, I don't want that, I don't not do that, I'm not used to that. That's unfamiliar. Because you got to change the language and see what you got to get. Like, it's all energy. Like, this serious. And so, and the reason why I feel so compelled to say what I'm saying the way I'm saying it is because All this stuff is internal before it becomes external. So before you say, I don't know how to do that, I don't want that, it's something going on internal behind you saying that and projecting that. And it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
Ain't that healthy?
I know. I don't like feeling vulnerable. I feel people want to use that and weaponize it
And people
against me.
will. But that's not the focus. People will. People will want to look at it.
That's my fear. Yeah.
So now you know what to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why I kind of interject and I say, okay, let's talk about this. Because it's almost like life for me is like a puzzle that we're constantly putting pieces together. Some people ain't putting no pieces together because they just content with where things are and how things are. You can't be content with that. You shouldn't be okay with knowing that it's difficult for me to receive flowers. Well, I've been giving flowers my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult for me to allow somebody to show when I'm showing up. You say you've been your father's caregiver for 15 years. Come on, you ain't 60. Like, that's a long time. You know, I'm not speaking against that because that's, you know, that's honorable to do that. And, you know, you're a blessing to be able to be that. But you are that. You're her. So you gotta find a way of allowing people to be that for you. And I believe that has a lot to do with the season. I don't think it's just about a sickness. It's not just about a disease. This is about your life and taking the opportunity to say, okay, you said it ever since I was a child. You know, they're my brother, they're my mother, they're my father, they're my uncle. That's a lot. And it doesn't sound like you really felt any of it.
My mama did.
Oh, you felt it, and it was a process of feeling, because it's almost like your feelings had to go in a backwards order, right? It's like you didn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't feel that you, it sounded like you were in denial, which I think it's a natural process of grieving, right? And
My mom?
right.
My cousins had said that. I don't think she said I was in denial. I didn't think that I was in denial. I knew that my mom was dying. I knew that it was nothing that could save her. What I did was take it out on myself. Was like I pushed her too hard. I should have been kinder. I should have been gentler. Like, what can I do to just get a few more days? Maybe a few more seconds, a few more moments, a few more minutes. Like that. I wasn't denying it. It was right there. It was evident. It was in my face. I just watched her deteriorate each and every day, and it just broke my heart. It just ate at me. And again, I spent so much time being mean to her, thinking, oh, like her getting on drugs like that was gonna punish her. But really, she tried to right her wrong with my kids, with me. Like she done everything. She made that up to me tenfold. But I couldn't see it at that time. I couldn't see it. And so now here we are. I don't think I was in denial. It was evident that she was leaving.
Well, evident, and right now Facebook is still being denial now. And I'm not trying to, you know, strongly disagree. But there's a lot of things that are blatantly obvious that we can still be denial about. Because the denial process, from where I stand, understand it, the denial process is really based on how am I reconciling what's going on or what happened. Not do I notice it, do I see it, right? It's not, oh, you were in denial that she was dying. No, it's bigger than that. Obviously, you do see and are fully aware because you're present. Like, you're a part of the whole process. So it's not a matter of being in denial to the point where, oh, she's fine, she's not dying, she's not going anywhere. Like, I don't think that was your process. I think the denial was accepting what the fate of her life was, because and you can correct me at any moment if I'm wrong, because you got to think about what things were like when you were younger for her, right? And then as you go into adulthood, and now here it is, a situation where now you got to kind of be a mother to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not, we don't recognize those feelings in the moment a lot of time, but that stuff is going on inside. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm not trying to strongly disagree. I just think it's something worth looking deeper into, because my next question to you was going to ask you, what is healing? Like, what is healing for you? Because I don't hear healing. I hear situation, death, therapy, counseling, but I don't hear, like, what is healing for you?
Well, right now, the inside out. When my mom passed, I told myself I was gonna never hold another grudge against somebody. It's just not worth it. To me, yeah, it felt very worth it. It doesn't live rent free in my head. I just don't like you. I don't mess with you, and I said I was gonna not do that anymore. Uh, I was gonna let people win, let them know a little bit about me, because a lot of people, some people don't even. My closest friends don't even know a lot of the stuff that happened because I pick and choose who I was gonna tell stuff to. Um, a lot of people don't get to see my personality, don't get to see how fun I am, or like you just don't really get to see me for who I am. Um, of course, I'm hurt and healing externally from the wounds and stuff. I'm healing my mind. It's okay. Like, how do I show up for others now? Like, how do I show up for myself? Like, you know how many times I wanted to do this walk and say that I was going to do breast cancer walk? I couldn't wait for October to get here. I couldn't. I was like, I'm going to advocate. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And when it came time for this walk, I get this overwhelming feeling like I can't do it. I ain't ready. Because the walk was at first was for my mother. But now it's about me and it's my mother. Now I'm just overwhelmed with so many emotions that I can't do it. I can't. I don't even want to talk. I don't want to go out. I don't want to move. I don't want to go. Like, I just want to lay in this bed and just lay here. And then I know another part of this journey is taking tamoxifen, which is a drug that blocks my estrogen that I have to take for the next 5 years. So women be on it for 10 years. The goal is to get me up to 20 milligrams. But I'm like, if I got to be on it for 5 years, what's the rush? It's a little small pill, but it's very powerful. I'm exhausted. Like, it felt like I ran around the field from 5 times, and I ain't do nothing but walk to the bathroom. So it's kind of like dealing with that, telling people that, hey, I'm a little tired, or I'm out of breath, or I just don't feel like it. Hey, so that's my healing. It's kind of letting people in, expressing myself. Because I will hold all this close to me, near and dear, and wouldn't let nobody in, and just, it'll come out in different ways, mainly in anger.
Because I've heard that, right? You said that repeatedly, like, I was angry, I was frustrated, I lashed out. Like, that's bottled up language, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell somebody's been, because when you say that in different phases in life throughout these past, I guess what are we, like, maybe 8 years at this point with everything? I'm hearing a lot of this venting, raging, and but when you and I spoke about it, and you called me, and when you mentioned what you wanted to do, like you want to talk about it and share it, that's the first thing I heard was healing. That's what I heard. Okay, that's going to be the process of healing. That's going to be, and some people may not understand. It's not for people to understand, right? But I think that this state of vulnerability is necessary for your development. This is a very vulnerable state that you're in, right? And all of it. So it's almost like, and we're gonna end because I know we went through a lot, and I didn't want to rush this because we've been trying so hard to get this thing. But we ain't trying to have everybody, people here all night. But I do want to add 2 things. Everything that I heard throughout the past, however long we've been on here, it sounds like where you are now is to counter all of that. The rage, the not dealing with it, not feeling it, pushing it off, the not being able to separate things and needing time to think. And I'm hearing that it's all come full circle. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing that now, okay, not just take time to think about it, but take time for you and allow other people to come in and give you the time that you would have given them. Because you are it sounds like you're the go-to, right? You're the go-to, like you're the advocate, you're all of these things, and that's what you need. We all need that at the end of the day. Like, we all need that. We suffer without it. When there's no one to advocate for us, to speak up for us when we're in rooms, when we're not in rooms, to be able to have somebody to call on, because you're the person people call on. Like, it don't make sense for you. And I'm not saying you don't have a support system of people to call on, but you get the point. You don't want to call on them. You don't want to be vulnerable. You don't want to open up. And I think God is saying this is the time to open up. Be vulnerable. Don't worry about who will take advantage of vulnerability. He gonna take care of them. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about that. Because it sounds like you have good, solid people around you that you shouldn't have to question that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Of how vulnerable can I be with him or her? Like, how much can I open up with him or her? Right? Nothing's too old to revisit. Right? Nothing's too old to talk about, because it's all healing and it's needed. And I think that's going to help you with processing everything, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just telling you, that's all I've been feeling, is that this is the time. This is that time for you to be vulnerable, you to open up, allow somebody to nurture you, allow somebody to show up for you. Even if just showing up is just laying there and watching the movie because you don't really feel like doing nothing or going nowhere. Okay, let them come over. Y'all just lay there and watch something. You know, allow them. Seriously, you need it, because on a more serious note, you're craving for that. That's what all the mask about. That's what the get up and go about. It's I can relate with that 1,000%. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole mask. Not saying that my generosity is not authentic, because it is. It's the measures in which I take to be generous to you, right? It's the measures I take to show up for you. I'm putting on a mask. I'm being with you. Well, wouldn't nobody be for me? You know what I'm saying? It's constantly having to be superwoman for everybody but you, and not be open to a superwoman or superman. Allow somebody to be your superwoman. Allow your husband to be your superman. And I'm sure it's going to have so much to do with your internal and your external healing. It has to. Because there's a lack, there's a void. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like there's this emptiness of that in you. And I just can relate. That's all. I can just relate.
That nurse told me that when I was leaving. She was like, "Let somebody help you." And I was like, I did. What do you talk about? Like, y'all been doing nothing but helping me the whole time. She was like, "You so stoic."
Even when you don't think you need it. Even when you don't think you need it. Let them get the water. Let them go get the cup of water. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel like, nah, I got it. Nah, allow that, because those are the baby steps you need to take so that it can become normal for you. It's a foreign thing for you, and that's not okay for none of us. It shouldn't be foreign, because the people lives that you're a part of is not foreign for them. It's normal. They expect it. You know what I'm saying? People, I'm sure people feel entitled when they come in here because of the expectations there. So that's all. That's my 2 cents. That's my, that look, you can cash at me. That's my therapy session for you, is to allow yourself to be vulnerable, man. Allow it. I don't think that the people in your circle are here for nothing. They're not here to just watch you go through and take care of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point? You don't benefit. Everybody benefits from the relationship but you. You know what I'm saying? So I say allow that. I think you touched on most of what I was going to ask. I do want to end by asking you, if you're able to, describe what's the most difficult part about this whole process. What do you think is the most difficult part?
This surgery that I just had, the reconstruction part of it. So it was called a deep flat surgery, which they take your stomach fat from your lower part of your abdomen and transfer it to my chest to make me have breasts. So it's my natural fat. They had to create a blood supply. It was a 9.5 hour surgery. So it's kind of like the same techniques that you would use if you gave somebody a mommy makeover. But it's like the hip to hip scar they pulled, but instead they took my fat and my muscle and they in the veins, and they had to put it in my chest and create a new blood supply. So not having no core strength is terrible. Like, so your my arms was a part of that because I'm affected because now they didn't been inside. Oh, and I had some bleeding, so the next day I had to go back in for the surgery to clean the blood out. One of the little blood vessels had popped. So they had to go back into that one and redo the surgery. But that was about another 4 hours. But I went back to work soon as I could. 10 weeks. Taking in my leave had just ran out. I was like, I gotta get back to work. I'm only sitting here, but I'm realizing now that maybe I probably should have, could have, would have stayed out just a tad bit more longer. Just hard. I still have to wear a belly band around me 24/7. The stomach has to learn how to, and the organs have to learn how to sit up for now by itself without having that extra fat right there. But my pants slide down right there. So I'm just having a lot of like uncomfortable clothing. So right now it's this feels like the worst of it now. The hair is growing back. It's doing what it's want to do. It's not cooperating. Half of my clothes don't fit because I gotta wear this belly band. Nah, my breasts don't look as big as they were. So it looks like my stomach poking out more. Right now everything's just uncomfortable. Until I get settled in. So I have to do another little a procedure where we lipo the stomach and give me more volume in the breasts. I have the breast. It looks normal. It just have the cuts there. They did an awesome job. I love the surgeon, and I actually love that breast doctor also. I kind of like doctors that just give me straightforward stuff, don't sugarcoat anything towards me. So I told the doctor, I was like, the breast doctor, I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to take this tamoxifen. She was like, oh no, that's not an option. You're going to. And I'm like, what? She was like, yeah, you're going to. You have to.
Right.
So I kind of like her. I like them when they straightforward and a little mean and confident in their practice. Yeah. Yeah. So right now this has been the most uncomfortable part, and most people would have thought like getting your breast, amputating your breast would have been the most scariest thing, but for me that wasn't. It was like, oh no, y'all try to kill me, and like you need to go. I don't need to feel feminine. My breasts don't make me feel feminine, and it never did. They were always on the smaller side, so it's. I never was attached to my breasts, so I was just like, okay, we'll cut them off. Like she said, if you gotta give one, give both. And then I didn't want to just have one regular one and one that you just keep comparing to the natural looking one. So just take them off. I don't want the opportunity of it having to come back in the other one and then I have to redo all of this again, wishing I just would have did it the first time. No, I'm just going to do both. So, yeah, right now.
So if it was anything that you could say to us women particularly, what would it be?
I would say go get the mammograms. And advocate for yourself, because all doctors are not there for just you. They there to collect a paycheck. Chemotherapy was like almost $300,000 just for one session, one round, and you wanted to give me this for preventative measures, and I felt like you kept pushing me and pushing me. Oh, just one more, or we'll take it session by session. She was really nice, but you were baiting me into something. Like, you didn't, we don't know if this is going to benefit me or not down the road. And we know it's not helping right now because I'm cancer free as of right now. So why would I put my body through this for right now? Like we just killing everything in sight. Just you saying just in case. But usually the cancer spreads through your lymphatic system. Like if it didn't go to your lymphatic system, the chances of it being somewhere else or being metastatic, it's really slim and low. So had it reached my lymphatic system, I probably would have made sure I done all 4 rounds. But it didn't. So it took a lot out of me and it set me back a whole lot. With that chemo days, that's a beast. Like you gotta be a strong person. And I take my hat off to anybody, and I show a tremendous amount of respect for people that just doing chemo because it's not easy. It ain't one session wore me out.
I'm sure even that had to take you to a place where almost like you went through back when your mom transitioned, like what's that darkest time you've had thus far? And you just kind of feel like you couldn't do it no more, or didn't want to do it no more. Have you faced that?
I try to think about that, and when I think about my mom, I was like, that lady was resilient because she was still going to go pick up my kids. She was like, no, like I'm going to go get my grandkids. I was like, no, ma, you can rest. No, I'm going to go get them. Like she made stuff to look forward to. So I guess so that she wouldn't be in a position where you had to think about what you're going through. Right now, like all the kids is grown, it's not like I have to go and I have to do something. So I had to make myself look forward to going back to work. Like, I gotta hurry up. I gotta get back to work. Like they missing me in this office. Like I knew at home gonna be home, but yeah, and I gotta get back to standing up and being regular. But it's a lot. And I didn't had 3 surgeries, chemo, diagnosed with this cancer, and it hasn't even been a complete year. And
That's what I was thinking. I was like, hey, she is brave to want to do this so soon. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, jeez, okay. But I feel like it was just that urge on you again because it was. I think that somehow you knew that there was some healing in telling your story, and not just to your immediate circle, right? But that's the natural advocate in you. Forget that's who you are, right? You're natural advocate. So this is kind of like. So I think I missed something. So did you go on the walk, or you did not go on the walk?
I didn't go on a walk. I signed up for it. I got my T-shirt, and when it came time to come, it was the Saturday before last. I was just like, I'm so tired just thinking about it. I was just overwhelmed. Like, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like getting up early. My husband had bought us some tickets to go to a comedy show. We was going out to eat. We had to be around people. I didn't feel like walking. I didn't feel like trying to put a smile on my face, getting dressed up for the comedy show. Like it was just too much in too little time. And I would have had to do the walk, come home, change, and I wouldn't have had that time to process. So
walks in the next week or so.
My sister-in-law invited me on a walk last week. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna come. Saturday come I seen her Friday. She was like, you want me at that walk tomorrow, right? I was like, yeah. Saturday came, I was like, so she sent me, where you at? It's 9:30. Like, it's time to walk. I was like, yeah. I keep getting overwhelmed when it's time to do it.
What do you think?
I don't know. I haven't figured that out. I don't know why I'm scared. I don't know if I'm scared. It's very overwhelming. And I can't figure that out. And it's so overwhelming that it paralyzes my movement. Like I can't do it. I can't. Like usually I can like, okay, Sarah, get up, you got this. And nothing is working. So I thought maybe it might be the medicine, but I don't want to put it all on that. I think it's just my mental process. Like, get your tail up. Like, you gotta go. And, I don't know. Well, maybe is it too soon for me? I'm thinking I'm ready. I'm not, because now I just can't wait for October to be over. I'm tired of breast cancer now. I'm over it because now like it's starting to affect. Okay, I'm a victim of this. So not even a victim, but I'm a part of this. I'm a part of this movement. And like, can we get over this? It's a little too long now.
I can see that. That actually makes more sense. Because now it's like, okay, I'm excited, it's here, but now it's like it's just going in slow motion, right? Like the month just won't end. I can understand that. I can understand. And it's different for you. This October is not like last October, the year before that, the year before that. Because you were doing it for mom. Now it's time to do it for you.
It was like, who knew my first mammogram would be my last mammogram? Like, I never have to get a mammogram again, ever again, because they took all the tissue out. So I never have to do it. So I'm like, ladies, please, go get your mammograms. Go get them. Make sure you go and get them. Or know your breasts. Something don't feel right. Make sure. I wish they hurry up and find a cure for it. Yeah. So.
Well, I'm glad you had your opportunity this evening because I know you were not gonna give up until it happened. And I was sitting there, I was like, because I didn't want to be pushing you, and I was like, I'm so glad that she's not letting this go. Like, I'm not letting this go.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm a little disappointed because I was waiting on somebody's questions. Like, I wanted to hear,
I know, right? And I kind of had somebody who was going to help me with moderating it and all that. But I think it happened the way it needed to tonight. That's just how I just put the positive spin on things. It happened the way it needed to tonight. I think that this could be something that you can build on. You know what I'm saying? On your own time, you can build on that. You want to do a spinoff, part 2. Maybe it's something you want to do on your own. Like, I think that you passed that threshold of the fear, right? And that wall. I think you kind of chipped away at that wall a little bit with this. So, yeah. I'm just glad you were able to do it. I knew that was important for you. It was important for me as well to be a part of it, but I'm glad that you had the opportunity. I've never been live on TikTok, so I have no clue how to end it, how it's going to turn out, what it's going to look like. But I'm hoping that I can do what I typically do with these and dice them up because I think that'll be another opportunity for you to kind of, again, can build off of that.
Thank you for having me.
Giving me the opportunity, I ain't lying to you. It's like, okay, you're doing me. Okay, I feel a little special, so I appreciate it. And I say, let them throw you the big party. I say, let them come over. I say, let them shower you. I say, accept the flowers. Okay, embrace the hugs. Okay, it's more than you think. And we're gonna finally get off. I don't know if we've been on here 2 hours or 3 hours or what, but we've been on here for a minute.
Right.
But I appreciate you. I love you.
Love you too.
See you too. We need to make some time to do that. And peace. I appreciate it. Okay.
See you. Bye.